All right, so welcome back to another drawing in the dark. We're going to get right into it with this Beetlejuice drawing. On the left, I did a few test study pieces there, and you can check those out on Patreon if you'd like to see more about that. So I start off here as I usually do, nice and light with the pen, just kind of working out a general composition. Using some simple basic shapes, some rectangles especially, and just kind of trying to build up a pose. I did borrow this pose from a Joker picture, and I thought that it would work out really nicely for Beetlejuice. Let's see how this goes. So, of course, I'm drawing Beetlejuice to kind of catch in on the hype with the new movie coming out, and I'm super excited to see it. Beetlejuice is a beloved personal character. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and doing this piece was a lot of fun. This part of the process was a lot easier than the earlier part. With the other sketches and stuff on the other page, I really did struggle quite a bit to find a structure that I understood drawing wise in order to render out Beetlejuice's face here. And so, yeah, I'm going to work it up as I go and stuff. You'll get to see more of how his face actually turns out and what I do to get it there a little bit later on in the video. But for now, we're just going to crank along here. I'm going to try and do a little bit less talking in these, not quite through the whole thing, but not totally quiet either. So this part of the process still here, we are working on just the general build on structures, elements and stuff, getting his jacket, the collarbone and everything worked out. I decided to put these gloves on him, even though he's in the striped suit, which he doesn't really wear any kind of gloves, these like fingerless gloves. I'm not sure where I got the idea for the fingerless gloves. Maybe it was one of the other costume versions of Beetlejuice. I know that the cartoon version's got like colored fingertips, but I don't know. I think it connects somehow to the Scrooge movie for some reason. I'm not sure, like the cab driver or something. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the original Beetlejuice here really soon. I haven't done it. At least I haven't done it before this drawing. But and see if there was any of his other costume versions and stuff in the movie that wore like fingerless gloves. I don't know. It just seemed to work for me, and I was okay with it, so it stuck. As you can see here, I am using some of the new face drawing methods and stuff that I've gotten from watching Rodgon on YouTube and stuff. I really do like his techniques and everything, and I feel like they've enabled me to get a lot more character and movement out of my faces and stuff. So yeah, using it here to draw this Beetlejuice. And this head, especially with as much trouble as I had with the heads in the Patreon version with the study elements, it really kind of made me nervous. One of the things I definitely need to still work on is the focal length. I've been trying to mess with the settings on my camera and stuff and improve things, but with changing the zoom, I've been doing a lot of like various edits and stuff now, where I'm trying to move the image along, change it up and stuff. You focus in on particular areas as I'm working on them and stuff. And I have noticed that when I zoom in real close, things definitely get a little pixelated, a little blurry. So that is something that I'm going to try to work on, get better at, or maybe in the future just have to get a real camera in order to do these recordings and stuff. But as it is right now, all of this is just on my phone and my tablet. So yeah, I'm doing the best I can with it. I think it's turned out okay. Here we go into finally adding the stripes into the suit. This was kind of fun, following some of the wrinkles and patterns and stuff in the pants and in the jacket and in the vest, and just kind of working and building stuff like that out. I'm also finally working in some of the background elements. I knew I wanted to add in the sandworm, but wasn't entirely sure how I was going to work that out. And then just with the negative space available after getting Beetlejuice worked in there, just kind of showed me where I needed to place him. This is, I did end up having to do a little bit of extra research and referencing and stuff on the sandworm, because some of the details are just really like non-obvious or intuitive. They're just kind of like Tim Burton strangeness. So I did end up having to do a little bit of extra research and stuff to figure out what, the various elements and stuff and how to get them correct. Here we are. I just work in nice and super sped up here with a lot of these repetitive details and stuff. And oddly enough, through the actual course of the process of this drawing, that sandworm ended up taking up more time to draw out with this pen than Beetlejuice himself did. Just with the shading and a lot of the repetitive details and kind of building things up here, he did end up and so this one was it took quite a bit of time. It took quite a bit of time. There was a good amount of editing and chopping and speeding things up to try to keep it under a 20-minute mark. And from here, I'm thinking that I might even still try to chop this up and make a couple of shorts. That's something that I'm realizing, that as I build these videos, I should be cutting up some shorts for like TikTok and for Reels and stuff like that as I edit these and export them, so that I'm kind of like already in the process. But it was a lot this time. The drawing itself, naturally, as I go with these and as I hope to, especially with doing the drawing study beforehand, as I did with the Baxter video, the Baxter Stockman video, and I'm going to be doing it again with next week's video. I do want to do these study pieces or study exercises so that I can get a bit more familiar with things and end up having a little bit better of an outcome, better posing, better characterization, better familiarity, all that stuff. Just to be a little bit more familiar with the characters and subjects. Some of these characters I might be familiar with in a general sense, or like in a nostalgic sense, say like with Beetlejuice. I haven't really watched the movie in probably a good like 10 years or so. I know I have since the turn of the century, but probably only once, honestly, since then. But when I was a kid, 15 years old, probably watched this movie, 12 times when I was 15. And so it's one of those things where it really just ends up becoming something that you think you know, but the details get a little fuzzy. And so there are a lot of other characters that I want to work on and I want to do especially like on the darker end. Um, that while I am generally familiar with, I will need to do some research and some study just to get, various proportions right. The idiosyncrasies of the character design are really one of the things I want to become more familiar with these elements, and just kind of work through a checklist of characters and creatures and stuff that I haven't really done before. So as you can see, I've been cutting out a lot of the fluff from the beginning, the opening intro. I'm not flipping through the sketchbook anymore. And in the outro, you'll also notice that if you've ever made it that far, I've cut out a lot of the ads and a lot of the self-promo stuff from there. And then with the body of the editing, I have done a bit more of a small editing trick. I don't know if it's necessarily a trick where I'm just moving the camera and moving the image, zooming in and stuff to where I really want people to be paying more attention. And I think it's really working. So I hope that you all like how everything is evolving and changing and stuff. And I'm going to keep working on all of that as I try to improve the videos. There were still definitely some things that I wanted to refine with this piece. Of course, I'm not trying to get any of these particular sketches to a perfect status. A lot of this is to show that conceptual development process for a piece before you would take it to, say, work on it further as a finished illustration or a painting or tattoo design or whatever. But I did run into, I just couldn't get his damn eyes right. I think maybe it was the shape, maybe the angle. I think the angle of one of the eyes is his left eye. Even though it's a little bit bigger, I wanted to make him look a little bit more manic. It still didn't quite land 100%, even though this is one of the better Beetlejuice faces that I did actually end up drawing after doing all my study work. So I wanted to give a little bit of a real-time view here of a lot of the hatching, shading, coloring in type stuff that I'm doing here on the sandworm. So with this one major, the largest black stripe and fin in the body here, I'm just going to do a good portion of this here in real time just to kind of show you the actual hand pace and time that it takes to work through all of this. And then from there, I will jump back into super speed just to keep all of this moving along. So this one turned out pretty good, a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out, and it definitely fits nicely into the book. I've only got 2 more pages that I'll be using for drawing videos in the sketchbook. After that, the sketchbook will be full and officially complete, and I've already got the next one that I'll be moving on to. And with that new sketchbook, I will be changing out how I'm doing some of the videos a little bit more, trying to evolve all of this as I go. And yeah, that's going to be part of the new paradigm, the new iteration, as it were. So if you made it this far, drop a like and a subscribe. Thank you very much. We will see you next time with some more Drawing in the Dark. Later.